why gas prices are high, ready to tie the all-time record, and that's not inflation adjusted, if you will. And sure enough, some of them are higher. California's higher because of their taxes. Hawaii because, well, it's just hard to get it there. And, you look up the rates, you see an old movie, and the price might have been 31 cents. Oh, good grief. That was back in the middle of the 1900s. And you can actually figure out a compound rate. If it doubled every 16 years, using the rule of 72, that'd be 4.5% a year. And the question arises among those who think about such things and or the thrifty, well, gee, is it worth driving farther to a cheaper gas station? Which, of course, is a moot issue if it happens to be on the way to, work or wherever. But, we could work out the math. Let's say, you have a 16-gallon tank. The price at the cheaper station is 40 cents cheaper. Here I'm using $4.60 versus $5. And maybe you get 20 miles per gallon. And we can use an average of those two prices. And you work out the math, and it turns out, well, you'd be willing to go 26 miles one way or 13 round trip. And the assiduous amongst you would say, wait a minute, Dr. Chucky, it's a New York Minute, time's up. You forgot about the time that I am taking to get to this farther away station. And it turns out we can do that as well. Noting that when you say get off the freeway, you're traveling slower, let's say 40 miles an hour, and typically the cheaper stations are farther away from the freeway or popular areas. And let's say we can travel at 40 miles an hour, and you pay yourself maybe $20 an hour, or that's what you'd prefer. And we add that into a previous equation. We work this all out, and now you'd go about, say, 8.5 miles, or maybe 4 some odd miles round trip. And you're saying, the traffic's a little bit worse, make the speed now 30 miles an hour, and you want to pay yourself $60 an hour, and you work that out, and it'd be about 3 miles or 1.5 round trip. Kind of puts everything into perspective. But as always, wait, there's more. So you're back on the freeway, and, most people know that if you drive faster, you use more gas per mile, worse mileage. And it turns out, if you do the math, I did this separately in another paper, that for those who have low cost per hour usage of their time, they should slow down, and vice versa. But what about those Priuses? Or is it Prii? Well, you have all electric cars. Takes a lot of time to recharge them, which if it's on a work-day basis, it's okay, it's overnight. On the other hand, if you're doing a long trip, say to San Francisco, you're going to have to stop for an hour or two to recharge. Well, that's a problem. And of course, then you have the hybrids, and then you even have the hydrogen. Don't get me started. Well, the bottom line is time is money, and it might explain why those in the Lexus lane go so fast or pass you illegally on the right with DrCinvests.